hurting me that bad that I want to be there to help and I can't and I don't know how to help. But I know this guy and his dog can, and I'll walk right next to his dog, right by his side, finding these kids. I know he can. It has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with ideologies. It has to do with finding these kids.
Republicans are the #1 cause of death of children in this country. Notice that every single time MAGA and Republicans intentionally kill their own kids in preventable situations, they try to gaslight us with their fake tears and tell us this is not the time for politics, to try to shut us up after MAGA and Republicans have once again committed one of their many fucking atrocities on kids by intentionally, and I do want to stress intentionally, neglecting to easily use tax dollars and laws to protect kids, the babies they pretend to care about. They never care enough about their own kids to do that. Whether it's school shootings, they can easily implement laws to protect kids. And time again, we see that protecting gun rights is more important to Republicans than protecting the lives of their own children.
Wait a minute. Black folks are being blamed for politicizing the Texas flood now? That's what they are doing? I watched this and I had to speak on it because the deflection, the rage, and the hypocrisy are getting out of control. Let's watch these clips. All credit to the owners. We come back with more commentary.
The #1 cause of death in this country for kids is Republicans. Technically, it's firearms, but since guns don't kill people, people kill people, it's Republicans who make the laws that keep the firearms in the hands of people, whether it's starving kids in this United States, the richest country in the history of the world. We have the highest child starvation rate of all developed countries. Republicans continue to slash food stamps and get rid of free school lunch programs. And in this case, Republicans intentionally slaughtered more kids because Donald Trump eliminated the warning coordination meteorologist job at the San Antonio National Weather Service office, a position that works with local emergency managers to plan for floods, including when and how to warn local residents to help them evacuate. The San Angelo office was missing a senior hydrologist, a staff forecaster, and a meteorologist in charge. Overall, between these two offices covering this flood area, the job vacancy rate is double what it was when Trump took office. Not to mention, in 2017, Kerr County rejected adding a public warning system that included a siren, a floodlight system, and river gauges. This is a county that voted 77% Trump. Rich, prominent people, including political officials' children, attended Camp Mystic. And even then, these rich Republican politicians were too fucking greedy and did not give a fuck about their own kids to spend money on a warning system these Republican politicians knew they desperately needed, because they knew they were in the most dangerous river valley in the United States, where they have floods all the time.
We have floods all the time. This is the most dangerous river valley in the United States.
Again, don't let these fake Christian, fake pro-life Republican officials and their cultist followers gaslight you with their fake tears and their whining about not making this political to deflect from the fact that Republicans are the #1 cause of death of children in this country.
So here is what's going on. After this historic floods in Texas, where people lost homes, lives were flipped upside down, instead of focusing on the disaster, some white conservatives are raging online. And who are they blaming? Black folks. Oh God. They are saying black activists are politicizing the disaster. That it's not the time to talk about racism, inequality, or failed policies. But let me ask, when is the right time then? When is the right time? It's not black people who ignored the infrastructure. It's not black people who underfunded emergency response. We all know this. And it's not black people who created the housing system that put black and brown families in the lowest, most flood-prone areas. Yeah, that is it. But now it's black people's fault. This rage is not about the floods, it's about being uncomfortable with the truth.
So it didn't take long for the MAGA white nationalists to blame black people. Whenever they have a chance, they'll blame black people, gay people, women. So the folks on the ground, the white men, are blaming a black fire chief for the disaster and the deaths in Texas. Yep. An all-white fire chief association is blaming a black fire chief. A Fox News pundit is blaming this black fire chief. Charlie Kirk is calling it another DEI hire that has resulted in tragic deaths. You guys want to know who they're blaming? The fire chief of Austin, Texas. Austin is 2.5 hours away from Hunt, Texas, the hardest hit part of the flood, where the Christian camp is located. 2.5 hours away, they're blaming a black fire chief. This is their effort, if you can't see it by now, to put only white, straight men in leadership positions, in power, accumulating all the wealth, and having everybody else work in menial slave labor type jobs. This is why education is being gutted. This is why DEI has been destroyed. This is why brown people are being deported. This is all of it. He must have been the closest black fire chief they could find, 2.5 hours away.
When Katrina hit, black folks were called looters. When COVID hit, they were blamed for spreading it. And now, with floods in Texas, their mad black folks are asking questions about why the poorest areas flooded fast.
As a pastor who lives in the Texas Hill Country, I want to take this opportunity to tell those who are turning the flash flooding disaster that we have experienced in our community into a political thing, shut up and have some common decency. Let me tell you something. This is not a time. People are going online. People are going on social media. People are coming on national news and saying that this tragedy happened because Donald Trump made budget cuts. Let me say this first of all. I am not here to apologize for Donald Trump. I'm not here to take up for Donald Trump. I'm here to say that this is not the time for that. People have lost loved ones. Children are missing. Children have died. And first responders are out wading through the muck and the mire and the debris, looking for bodies, looking for survivors. And some morons want to get on social media or go on national media and try to make this into a political thing. This is not the time for that. I've learned as a pastor, let me tell you something. I've learned as a pastor, whenever someone experiences a trauma, a death in the family, or some other event like that, that's not generally the time to become theological and, God forbid, political. It's time to be present. It's time to imagine, what would I feel like if I had lost my child? What would I feel like if my child were missing? What would I feel like if my husband, my wife, my loved one, my coworker, my neighbor had perished in the disaster? This is disgusting and it's terrible. I've been reading through the book of Job, and the calamities that happened to Job, the loss of his family, his children, the loss of his health, the loss of his worldly goods. His friends come along, and for 7 days, they're quiet, and they should have stayed quiet. But then the next several chapters, we read them basically explaining to Job that what's happened to you is your fault. You've done something wrong. Their theology was very simplistic. Good things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. You've done something bad because bad things are happening to you. But Job hadn't done anything wrong. You know, we live in a fallen world. We live in a world that is under the curse because of sin, when sin entered the world. And sometimes tragedies happen. Sometimes innocent people suffer. In the long grand scheme of things, I just trusted to the sovereignty of God. Let me tell you something. This is a time for people to be present, to comfort, and to help. And I just pray for the people that want to use this for political reasons, that want to spin it into a political thing. I hope that you're never in this position. And I'll promise you, we will not act that way. We won't act that way towards you.
It's always the same playbook. Silence black voices. Tell us not to make it political. But you made it political when you ignored their communities for decades. Yeah, these floods are exposing more than broken lives. They are exposing broken priorities, and people don't like that mirror being held up.
Hey family, so now we are told that the flood in Texas was caused by black and brown people trying to get rid of the white race. Yes, you heard that. I cannot make this stuff up. Many of the MAGA nuts, especially some of the white evangelical nationalists, believe in a conspiracy theory that we, black and brown people, somehow, along with the Jews, have manipulated the weather system. Yes, I'm not lying to you. And cause the flooding in the predominantly white area so that we can kill off white folk and then we can just have life without white folk. Here's the thing, white people, especially you racist white folk. If black and brown people wanted to get rid of you, don't you think we would have? But the truth of the matter is we don't care enough about you to even think about getting rid of you, because we know those of you who are filled with hatred, vitriol, racism, prejudice, bigotry, xenophobia, homophobia, and all the other phobias, that God, the same God that you think you're serving, God has the final say, and he's going to deal with you on Judgment Day. So we don't have to be your judge and juror. See, the problem is you think that the same hatred you have in your heart towards people of color reciprocates within the hearts of black people. And I keep telling you all, we don't have the same heart. We don't operate like that. So give yourself a break, okay? Calm your little petty behinds down, okay? Because the last thing we are thinking about is you racist, ignorant, MAGA nuts, okay? We're too busy getting highly educated, very wealthy, and very, very attractive. Idiots.
Y'all not gonna believe what I'm about to tell y'all. If they started blaming the Texas flood on black people, look at this.
What you are not being told by the media anyway is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI. This Texas tragedy is just the latest example.
Of all the MAGA people out here, Charlie Kirk is probably the dumbest. And this dude keeps on bragging about not going to college. You should have gone to college. You should have, because you are dumb as a motherfucker. Blaming a natural disaster on black people is wild. That's God's work. God is doing that. Does that mean that Charlie Kirk believes that God is a person of color? Because you're blaming a natural disaster on black people. Does that mean that you believe that God is a person of color? I'll take that.
So here is the thing, black people are not politicizing the flood, they are surviving it, analyzing it, and speaking truth about it. If that makes you mad, maybe check your privilege, not their voices. Okay? So what do you think? Are they wrong for pointing out racial side of disaster response? Or is this just another case of truth making people uncomfortable? Let me know in the comments. And if you are tired of fake headlines and want to hear real talk, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that bell. I got more coming. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the love and support. I really appreciate. Thank you so much. I will catch you next time. Bye.